Hello, hello. We are here. We are embracing the chaos. It is another 5 card Fridays. The energy of these are always actually really wild because just like the audacity of me to pull 5 cards at once and then try to like circumnavigate some coherent reading out of that. It's honestly it's hubris. It's audacity. It's something wild. I look at this as a beast that I adamantly attempt to tackle every single week. Just since I started doing this last week, I was looking forward to it, and it was wild, and I was like, I want to do that again, because it's like honestly almost thrilling to like challenge yourself to reach new heights. It is so windy outside. What is with the wind this week? It's wild. It's blowing against the house. Nature agrees. 5 card Fridays it's an abomination. It shouldn't be done. But don't try this at home, kids, lest you hurt yourself with all of the psychic energy just bombarding you from the heavens and the other dimensions as we move forward. All right, how do we want to do this? How do we want to play the cards? How do we want to draw them? Why am I getting the vibe that I want to shuffle them up and then I want to pull the 5 cards off the top of the deck? Is that what I want to do? Does that seem good to you guys? Is that something we should attempt? I feel like it'd be kind of fun. I have them really shuffled, so like it shouldn't be fine. Sometimes I feel like if it's not shuffled well enough, you could get like sequential cards, but I've done multiple readings since I've like ordered them, so we will be just fine. All right, what do we want to do for this? I think that's what we're gonna do. Oh no. Is that a sign? One of them just dropped out of the deck. I haven't looked at the card though. Should we use that? Should we use that and then the 4 cards that are currently on the deck? I think that's what we're gonna do because that's the one that fell out. And then here's the deck. We're gonna pull the 1, the 2, 3, 4. So that's 5 total. And then we're putting this aside. Okay, let's get into it. I knew this is what I would be doing, so I gave myself my coffee cup's really full. I can't really show you. You can see I put a lot of whipped cream on that. You can see. Don't you like my little fish mug? This doesn't look like a mug that you should have at your house. This looks like a mug that like you go to your rich aunt's cabin on like I don't know, Lake Erie, and they have a fish mug there or something. This isn't something you should own. And yet we do. It's this liminal piece of, I'm gonna call it art. That's what it is. This liminal piece of art that shouldn't exist in one's main residence. But here we are. All right, this is me stalling. Avoiding flipping over these 5 cards. Okay, let's take a look at it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The lineup of how we're doing this. All right. When I lift the camera, it makes the audio angry, but we're just going to have to accept that that's what's happening. How are we even? D. That's probably not the most efficient way for me to show you the cards. I am going to lift them up to you one at a time, but I just wanted you to see that that's kind of the arc that I have them in. So we have Wheel of Fortune. I feel like before I said in no particular order, but I'm getting called that this is in a particular order, and this is the order that I pulled them, and Wheel of Fortune is the one that jumped out. So that's what starts this. And we have Justice. Interesting. 2 of Swords. King of Cups, lots of royal cards, not even just like court cards, but specifically like the nobility. All right, let's adjust that. Get that back where it needs to belong. Ugh. Okay. So and then the last one is the 8 of Cups, which I think is interesting that it is the last card. Okay, let's start with this. So the wheels are turning. Things are in motion. We have stuff going on. Starting off, we have two of our, yeah, it's the only two. We're starting off with two of the major arcana cards. We move from the Wheel of Fortune into the Justice. So what I'm initially getting from that is that things are turning, things are moving. People often talk about like the wheels of justice. So I'm getting that kind of like amalgamated into like one, almost one card, like one specific message, and I'm actually getting two from each side, because we have the Justice card here, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune here, and then we have the Two of Swords here. So I'm getting two kind of phrases coming at you at once, and that is one with these two, the Justice and Wheels of Fortune, which is that phrase, the wheels of justice are turning, things are moving, things are going. Oftentimes things are like kind of slow. People will say that when it's like, oh yeah, the like wheels of justice, it takes time. It's kind of like this cosmic timing, which also has a lot to do with the Wheel of Fortune, because it's not always perfect. I mean, it's perfect in the sense of being like divine timing, but it's not always like synchronized. It's not in the sense of like moving around a clock. Like everything is moving in order. Like the good times are like, you had a bad 3 months, and now you have a good 3 months, and then you're gonna have another like okay 3 months, and then like a more neutral 3. Like it's not moving that way, but it like there's a timing that there's a timing to it, but it's not even. It's not always perceptible to people. There's the way in which things move and are shaped and are balanced out. So that's kind of surrounding that justice. And then with the Justice and the Two of Swords, I'm getting the phrase justice is blind, or like this blind justice. So that's like, it's the ultimate truth. It's this idea of like the senses clouding it, and just as your own emotions, again, like the swords, it's very intellectual, so it's this idea of the emotions getting in the way of justice and what needs to be done and what needs to be served, and your idea of what is right and wrong and how things are impacted and how you are moving forward with your own life. So yeah, that's what we're getting started off with this reading. I'm getting this, justice is a very powerful card for a lot of people. There's a lot of very solid imagery. You have this person with this like blood red gown and gold, and they're holding the scale and they're holding the sword, and it's just this. It's not just justice in the sense of like this this like a it's like this amorphous, nebulous concept of justice. It's this very tangible form of justice with like the sword is here and the scales are here and we are here to accomplish something. So it is the enactment of justice. So that, and then with these two cards on the side enacting like the wheels of justice, they almost work as why am I getting this vision of like like what are they called, the Power Rangers with their like megamorphs or whatever they're called, where it's like one is like a tiger, but then it transforms into the arm, and then another one transforms into leg, and there's the body and the head. That's kind of what I'm getting with this, where it's like you have the Justice card, and then you have the Wheel of Fortune that's acting as the head, and then you have like the arms are the swords of justice. So they're seeking to like add power to this card. So I'm getting this really powerful sense of something coming to a head and something being formed, like something is coming together, like the elements are coming together to create something powerful enough to break you out of whatever bad situation is in, whatever something's wrong, whatever like muck has been churned up in your own individual life. These elements are coming together and the planets are aligning in a way that's like giving you strength to be able to deal with that problem. Something is coming. There's this karmic justice is coming. You feel you have been wrong. Someone has been wrong. You have wronged someone else. Maybe you're not very high vibe, and if you know that for the case, then this is the week to lay low. This is not the week to double down, because things are coming. Justice is being served. There's power. It's not only justice, but it's like, again, Wheel of Fortune. It's this divine justice. It is justice that is inevitable coming forward, and with the blind justice, it's fair, it's uncorruptible, it's swords, it's thought, it's that very like higher energy. It's this very like the concept of justice, and it's the fusion of like the concept and the divine coming down into like the actual justice, the machinations of justice, and the physical scale and the sword in the Justice card. So you definitely are getting this you're getting this very powerful card. So if you're waiting for some kind of justice to be served, I think this weekend, like this week moving into this weekend, this kind of period that we're in, there's something coming. there's something changing, something is coming to light, something is being like something is being served. So if you know that you were in the wrong, like I said, this is just kind of your warning to stay on the low, because it's not entirely avoidable. But if you double down on this and you're like, well, I have to prove something, like I wouldn't, because things might come back and hit you like 10 times harder than you thought they were going to hit you. You think like, oh, I'm going to double down and like everybody else will get out of my way. Like they're like blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not 100% sure you're in the right, and you think that if you double down, you can kind of push other people over, and that's not what this is. It's like you saying like, oh, I don't know, it's like, well, I didn't do something I was supposed to do at my job, but like nobody else can talk to me because like who are they to talk, blah 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 blah, like I'm like whatever. Like it's this very like self-righteousness, and maybe in many circumstances you're not in the wrong, but I'm just saying there's almost this kind of I don't want to call it bloodlust, because it's not this emotionally fueled, but it's just like order to be served. So you think like oh, like they're not going to do anything, like they can't like they can't push me around, and I'm going to like stick my feet in, and then all of a sudden you have 10 people dogpiling on you and being like, well, actually this and actually this, and 3 people file a complaint to HR, and suddenly you're fired, or like something like that. You have to be sure that you're in the right about whatever it is you're advocating for, and if you are, then you could be on the side of this. Like this could be a very powerful machination if, like, say your boss is being tyrannical and breaking policy and trying to get you to work unpaid overtime, or not respecting like the time off that you requested months ago, and they're just like, no, you can't get it. But it's like, well, I requested it months ago, so like this is what we're gonna do. Like justice is on your side. You just want to make sure that you are the one who's on the right side of it, because there's some really like powerful conceptual stuff being churned up here. So you just want to make sure that you are not on the receiving end of that. Okay. So that's the first 3 cards of 5 Card Friday. And then I'm getting into these last 2 cards, which are both water cards. So we have first of all, we have the King of Cups. There he is on his little fish throne. I love him. He looks like such a weird little fish. I love him. Look at his face. He looks like a meme. What is the meme I'm thinking of? Do you guys know that drawing style where it's that really weird art style where like the people have like really long legs, or there's like the picture of the pregnant lady, and like her fully formed baby is like sitting inside of her womb, and like they both have those really messed up faces, and like the baby's legs are full. It's very like it's not even surreal, because I don't know, it's like jarring. I don't know. That's what his face looks like. Let me know down in the comments if you guys know what I'm talking about. Those like really messed up looking people, those really messed up drawings. All right, but we have these 2 water cards moving forward. I'm getting the sense of again, we have this element of flowing. Both of these cards have to do with flow. They have to do with movement. The King is arguably this like concept of water as a whole, this emotional like flushing out the kind of aftermath, the powerful aftermath. And then we have the 8 of Cups, which has to do with like moving on from the circumstances. So here's the analogy that I'm kind of getting for this card reading. I'm getting the first 3, what we were talking about with this divine justice. I'm getting this as kind of the surgery. Something needed to be removed. Specifically, I'm getting like dental surgery, like a root canal, or like a wisdom tooth being pulled, and then that's the thing that needs to be done. That's the justice. Like you had a bum tooth and it needed to go. Like yank it out of there. It's going to be unpleasant, but it needs to be done. And then these last 2 cards are the aftercare. They're the rinsing. It's like the mouth rinse. Like they clean out, they poke you with the tools, and then they rinse out your mouth, and it's like the saline wash that you get, or like you get a piercing and then you like have to rinse it out. But specifically, I'm getting like surgery. It's something that needs to be done, something that is inevitably going to happen. And then this is kind of that aftercare you have. So again, we have the King of Cups. It's this very like concept of emotional, like dealing with the emotional fallout of this. And then the willingness to like move on from that, walk away, process, like take some time. It's rinsing it out. It's rinsing out the circumstances. So like maybe something went down at your job and like you got fired, or you got your boss fired, or like something crazy. Like you were in the right, but then something crazy happened. Like, have you ever done that before, where it's like you're like, well, I wasn't like trying to get anybody fired, or like I wasn't even trying to really get them in trouble, but that like I needed to tell someone because they were like doing this wrong thing, but then like everything just kind of like it gets gets out of your hand and it goes so far, and then like you thought was something just a slight against you, and it turns out against they were like sliding against all these other people and doing wrong, and it's like being this massive like tidal wave case being built against someone, and then they just get like shoved out of the company, and they're just like, you're fired, and you're like, well, I don't know that that's what I wanted. So this is really empowering you to take this just kind of like meticulous care of like post-surgery wounds or issues. Make sure you're doing that daily saline wash. This emotional clearing out, take some time, process it. I'm not saying this so much as like walking away from a situation as a whole, but again, I'm getting this like rinsing out, like I'm not even getting at that like you're the person in this picture. I'm almost seeing that you are the cups, like you were stuck with the circumstances that you were in, and then the person is kind of that negative, but like it's the person who got fired. Maybe you're the person who got fired, but I'm getting more that you're like the cups. You are these circumstances, and then again, you kind of like that. I'm getting the moon and the sun is just kind of this shadow of the divine justice that was served. Like it's there, like you are watching, you are rinsing out in the context, being watched over by like the shadow of what has just happened to you, and then really being called to go forward with this just kind of a, not even a maturity in the sense of the king card, but I'm really getting the king as this embodiment of water and like flushing out, and like look at all the waves under there. There's a lot of like thrashing, and it's very like rinsing out, like a really like aggressive, like you're like swishing back and forth in your cheeks, and like you have all this energy, and then you just like spit it out, and the person is the spit, and they're just that thing you're just like spewing out, and it's crazy, but it's cathartic and it's healthy, and you're flushing out all that nasty bacteria. So you've dealt with these crazy circumstances, and then you just have to make sure you are washing that all out. You're not even washing your hands of it, because you're going to be stuck with that, like the gap in your teeth, like the wisdom tooth is gone. You're still going to have that wound there, but you need to make sure you're caring and tending to it and doing what needs to be done, especially if that's in like an emotional aspect and like damage controlling kind of, not even like, damage controlling might not be the right word. It really is. It's just hygiene. It's taking care of the post, the whatever needs to be done, like post whatever happened, whatever went down, because I'm getting some really powerful, there's some powerful energies at forces, and then the advice you're getting is that like you need to be taking care of this, because you need to make sure you're brushing your teeth twice a day and flossing, because it could be ripe for infection, and you want to make sure you are doing it right, because if it could happen to them, if all these bad circumstances could align and like build up, you want to make sure that you are in the right. Again, like here we are circling back, like make sure you're in the right, make sure you're doing the care, lest a couple months go by and then all these circumstances build up around you. Like scrape out the gunk before it like dries on and crusts on, and then it's just like this whole pain to get off. It's like, it's easier to like, it's a pain to like brush your teeth all the time, but it's so much easier than having to go to the dentist and they're like scraping all this plaque and like like sawing down and like removing and yanking out more teeth. Like that's what we're trying to avoid here. Spiritual and emotional hygiene. That's the gist of this reading. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the 5 card Fridays. It's very it's this very manic energy, but I love it. It's very fascinating to me. I think we have some cool stuff. So keep an eye out for all this. Watch your mouth. Like watch where you are. You know where you stand. If you've been causing trouble, then like keep out. It's that Nicki Minaj quote where she's like, if you don't like me, that's fine, but you know, watch your mouth. So that's all I'm going to say to you guys. That's the advice I'm going to leave you. Make sure you're watching your step, because you never quite know what forces are kind of like conspiring against you. Not that sounds a little too, that sounds more dramatic, but like, you know, like, I don't know, things happen, circumstances build up, things go wrong when you don't think, so you want to be on top of that. But alright, that is it for 5 Card Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you liked it. I hope you like these kind of like frantic energies as I'm like pulling out all these cards and like vomiting up the meaning at you, and we're just having a good time and reading the energy. So yeah, that's Friday's reading. Thank you guys so much for watching this week. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked the video. Give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Comment down below if you have anything to say or about how the energies affect you, or any advice for the people in the community, or maybe what any sort of resonance you got from the cards that I pulled. That's why I try to like show them to you guys so you can see if you're pulling, like you're drawing anything from them. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye.